Okay. Okay. Hello. So basically, I'm going to cover what selection sort is. Okay, it's an algorithm which is going to take basically it's going to sort an array or a list, and we have here the 5 simple steps we have to go through. Okay, so I'm gonna go through them. As you can see, basically I have variables here called I, J, and minimum index. Okay, so I'm gonna go through it basically very quick what it has to do, and then I'll write the code for it. Okay. Basically, what we're doing this selection sort, what it's doing is basically getting a number and it's comparing these two ones here, and he's saying, okay, so I'm here. Okay, so basically, it's going to insert numbers, order from minimum to a maximum. Okay, from the smallest to the biggest. It's going to order them in this order. Okay, so it's gonna go this way. Okay, so um, so we have to keep track of in what position we have to insert a value. Okay, so that's going to be I here is going to keep track of what and what position we have to insert a value, because it's going to insert one by one, and J is going to keep track is basically going to keep track of what is the biggest number. Okay, and minimum index is basically going to say, okay, well, I want to find the number who has the we want to find the minimum number, like the number that's the smallest, and I want to store its index. Okay, so we have to store the index. Okay, and the index is here. Okay, I wrote it down there just in case you don't know. So basically what we're doing is we're saying, okay, I want to firstly, I'm gonna get another color. I want firstly to find the smallest number in this list. Okay, so it's gonna take this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And you're gonna say, well, the smallest one, because it's gonna go in this order, is going to be this one or that one. Okay, so it's gonna be one. It's going to be this one here. Okay. Um. So what happens after? Well, we're going to store the location, the index of of one. Okay. So we're going to store it here. Okay. So we're going to say, okay, well, the minimum index is one. It's not one because the number is one of the because of the index. Okay, it's just coincidence. Okay, and then we're going to say, all right, what do we do now? Well, what we have to do now is we want to swap um the very first element. Okay, so this one here, we want to insert it. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this number here. Okay, and this one here. So basically, we want to swap the 7 and the 1. Okay, and now we're going to end up with a list. Okay, let me just delete that. It's a bit of a mess. We will end up with a list that is 1, 7, 5, 2, 4, 3, and 1. Okay, so now we have it ordered. Okay, and now we do the exact same process. Now, instead of checking every single number, because we already checked this one here, okay, we have to check this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and we find the smallest one. Okay, and we say, okay, well, the smallest one is 1, isn't it? Yeah, it's this one. So we store the index of it, which is 6. Okay, and you know why we need to store the index. And we're going to insert it here. So now the 7, and we have to swap the 7 with the 1 again. Okay, so we have to swap this one and this one, and we'll end up with a list which is geez, that's gonna take a while. It's gonna be a long video. Just saying. Okay, so it's gonna end up with a list which is like this. Okay, so as you can see, it's going to go through every single element and it's gonna put them in order. Okay, so I hope you understand that. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this here. Okay, I'm going to keep this here, and I'm going to make this smaller. It's a bit messy, I know. Okay, so so you have the steps there. Okay, so basically, what do we need to do? We need to do a for loop. Okay, we need to do an outer for loop. Okay, why do we need an outer for loop? Well, we need an outer for loop because we need to keep track of in what position we need to insert. See the way we're going to insert it first here, then we're going to insert here, we're going to insert here. Basically, we need to keep track of in which at which point do we need to insert. Okay, and I is going to do that. Okay, so I for us is going to tell us, okay, well, first we need to swap this value with the smallest one of the rest of the list. Okay, then I, when these values are swapped, is going to say, okay, now we want to swap this value with the rest of the list, because this ones here will be already sorted, okay? So we don't need to worry about those, okay? So I hope you understand that, okay? So we're going to do an out of for loop, and we're going to say, well, let's just int I is equal to 0, okay? And minimum index, okay, because we need to store the index of it, is going to be 0. And also in j is going to be 0, okay? So let's do a for loop, and we're going to say that I is equal to 0. I has to be less, well, I has to be less than n minus 1, okay? And I explain that in a second. Why n minus 1 and not n, okay? N is the size of the array, okay? So we're going to use this one here. So we have n as 7 already. And also we're going to do I plus plus. Okay, so we're going to go through every single element. Why are we skipping the very last one? Well, we're skipping the very last one because there's going to be a point where there's only going to be this one and this one, but they are going to be sorted already. So basically, we don't have to check if the very last number is sorted, because we already know it is, okay? Because it's been sorted one by one, so you know it has to be the very last one, okay? You could also, it could work if you go through I is equal to I has to be less than n, okay, the size of it. But you know, it's just, you don't want extra work, okay? You're doing extra work for no reason. You're making the computer do extra work for no reason at all, okay? So let's just keep it simple, okay? So what do we do now? Well, as the algorithm says, as you can see right here, I want to screen there because you can. Anyway, so what we have to do, basically, we have to set the index to location 0, okay? And so that's basically the first algorithm. That's like the first step. So we need to set the index, which is going to be minimum index, is equal to I. Okay, so the first one, I is equal to 0. But then we don't really want we don't want this to start from 0. We want to start from here and here. That's going to store, which is the, and minimum index, as I said before, needs to store the size. No, sorry, it needs to store the index of the smallest value in the list. Okay, so the smallest value in the list, let's just pretend that the smallest value is already I. Okay, let's just pretend this one here will be 0. So if this one was here, if we don't tell them what it is, this thing is going to get confused. Okay, because it's going to say, okay, well, it's going to check and go, oh well, there's a number that's smallest, but you didn't tell me which one it was. So that's why we need to tell, just in case. Let's call that minimum index equal to I, just in case there's a number which is smaller than the rest of the list. Okay, so then we go into another for loop. Okay, and I'll explain that now in a second. Let me just write it down. J plus plus. Okay, that's what we're doing. J. Why do we need a for loop? Okay, well, we have a for loop that is going to keep track of where do we need to insert. Okay, so that's why it's a for loop, because we're going to insert here, then here, here. So it's going to be a linear. So if we insert in here, we need a for loop that is going to check which of these numbers here is the smallest. Okay, so, and it's going and we're going to save it. Okay, so that's what we need. Okay, so we need a for loop that is going to start, and that's wrong. This thing should start in I. Why I? Because I plus 1. Why it is I plus 1? It's I plus 1 because we don't want to find if the smallest value is this one, right? We want to find the smallest value from the numbers that are on the right. And what are the numbers that are on the right of I? If this is I, we want to find the smallest values of this numbers here. Okay, the smallest value. If I was here, okay, because we're going to do one by one, then we need to find the values here of the smallest. We don't want to check if this one is here or of this ones, right? We want to only check these ones here, the ones on the right. Okay, so that's why we start with I plus 1. So then, what do we do? We're going to do an if statement, okay? And this if statement, what it's going to do, I'm going to go backspace just to make it look clearer. What is this going to do? It's going to check if the array number j is smaller than array minimum, okay? And that's what we use in the I think we call that minimum index, didn't we? Yeah, index. So basically as I said before, minimum index stores the index of the smallest value, okay? So the smallest value when we start running it is going to be I, okay? We're just gonna assume it's I even though it's not. And then we're gonna say, oh, well, okay, I'm gonna go through every single number. So as I said before, if we have this, oh no, deleted too much. If we have this here, okay, we're just saying the smallest value for the first iteration is gonna be this one, even though it might not be, and it's probably not gonna be. And then it's going to go through every single one of them. It's gonna get, okay, this one, array J. Okay, we want to say, okay, array J, is this smallest than this one? Well, if 1 is smaller than 7, if 1 is smaller than 7, then what are we going to do? We need to say minimum index is going to be J, okay? Because J stores the indexes, okay? So we're going to say, okay, well, if 1 is equal to 7, no, if 7 is less than 1, then we want the index of 1 to be stored there, okay? And then it's going to check one by one. It's going to say, okay, well, is 5 less than 1? No, it's not. Okay, so we're going to keep that number. Is 2 less than 1? No, it's not. Until we find a number, so let's say that was 0, we're going to say, is 0 less than 1? It is. Okay, we want minimum index to store its index, which is 5. Okay, if that was a 0. And at the end of the list, when this finishes here, the inner for loop is going to say, okay, well, minimum index is going to have the index of the minimum value, okay? So now we know that, okay? Now minimum index stores that for us. So now we know for the rest of the values what minimum index is. Now we need to create what's the name? We need to create a variable called temp, because as you see here, it says swap the value. We search between step 1 and step 2, and it says step 3, swap the value with the ith element, okay? So now if we were here, we said, okay, well, 1 and 7, we need to swap 1 and 7, okay? How do we swap 1 and 7? Well, the way to do with C is to store a temporary variable, okay? And to do that, we need just we need to say, okay, well, we want temp to be array I, okay, because that's the number we want to swap it with. Then we want to say array I needs to be array J, array, and which one would it be, okay? So just think about it. We want to swap 1, the 7, and the 1. How do we swap them, okay? Well, which is going to be, we need the index of the smallest value. And who has the index of the smallest value? Minimum index, okay? So now array I contains the minimum value, and we want to put that one back there, don't we? So what do we do? Okay, what we do is we say array minimum index is equal to temp, okay, and that's what we need, the temporary variable, okay? So now we have it, okay? So that should be the algorithm, okay, and that should be correct. And now what are we going to do? We're going to do a for loop, okay, just to print we're going to print all the values, okay? So we'll do it really quick, just to check if it works, and if it doesn't work, you wouldn't be watching this video. Well, I'll cut it off, you know, that's what I mean. And we need array. Okay, so that's just gonna be, that's a simple for loop that's going to print every single value, okay? So if we run it, it says now 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay, so it's sorted. Okay, and you want to check with negative values. Okay, just in case you don't believe me. Okay, we just change the names of those, and we say, okay, now maze -6, -4, -1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, so that does work. Okay, and I hope that was useful, and it is. If it was, just let me know somehow, and if it was, let me know somehow as well, so I can see if I can redo the video or if I can do something different. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I hope that was clear, and I'm sorry that if it was a long video, but you know, when I start talking I never stop. Anyway, thank you.